So unfortunately, I couldn't quite get the right angle I was hoping for to show you what all of this is about. And what you just watched me build was this, home center wire rack shelf for me to put these parts organizers. I've been collecting parts organizers over the course of about 10 years. And typically what I'll do is like once a month I'll go buy one or two, unless I go buy one for a very specific need. So a lot of that has to do with the fact that until about 2019, I never quite found the right one that fit my needs. So I was always on the hunt for like, oh, what's that perfect parts organizer? What's that one, that's going to really work for me that isn't, super expensive? And I just could never find one. And I spent most of this past month, so this is 2022, middle of January. We just finished up the holidays. And I spent December wrapping up a couple of commissions. And then basically since then, I told people that I will not be taking another commission for a couple of months. That has a lot to do with the fact that for a long time, I've always been kind of doing the fake it till you make it kind of a thing. I'm halfway organized. I'll get to it eventually. I only kind of know how to sharpen my tools just enough to get along. I kind of have the right tool, but not really what I need. Like I kind of know how to, do this one technique, but not only only enough to get by, and kind of brute force it. And I decided that that isn't what I want to do, and that isn't how I want to be. And I've taken a really long hiatus from YouTube, not really on purpose, but I was always struggling with, well, no one's going to want to watch this, or I'm not going to do anything that people haven't seen 1,000 times already, and with people with much better cameras and much better setups and way more experience. So very discouraged, very, very discouraged against doing this for quite some time. On top of that, when I was halfway through, I think filming the clamp rack when I moved it and the new wood storage that I did, I don't think that made it to YouTube. The camera that I used for a long time now to film broke. I think my wife just recently was able to do a hard reset and go through there and fix some things, and I think it's working now. But that wasn't working for a while. I was having a really hard time sourcing wood during last winter, mostly due to our current, circumstances with the pandemic. And I just couldn't, there's just a lot of logistical challenges. There's a lot of creative challenges. There was a lot of self-doubt that I had to deal with, and it was really hard. I'm still dealing with the self-doubt, but I decided that, for once in a very long time, I'm going to try to start from zero and give myself a leg up in the situation. And I'm going to try to film and share that experience. So the last video I did, and probably the next handful that I do, are just going to be on my phone. I've got a Samsung Note 9, I think, is the right model. And that's what I'm going to film on. I'm going to film and edit from my phone. My laptop will no longer run Adobe, which is what I used to edit with. So I kind of said, screw it. I'm going to film. I'm going to share my experience. I'm going to share some of the reasons why I did or how I did some of the things that I did, and try to get myself to a point where I'm doing some of the cool projects that I've dreamed of doing, for as long as I can remember. The budget is still incredibly limited, which was yet another of the long list of contributing factors to why I haven't done this in quite some time. But what I decided to do is scour the entire shop, wall to wall, floor to ceiling, and try to find every parts organizer, every toolbox, every tool, clean them up, organize them, lay them out, mount them, whatever it is that I have to do to put them in a place where I'm actually encouraged to use it. So instead of buried in a box, because that's what I could do at the time, I'm going to try to pull it out, mount it, put it somewhere that it makes sense, and then all of the doubles, triples, quadruples of things that I have found, maybe those will go in a box or, what have you. So that's what's going on with this. This was an antique shelf came out of a home that was put out on the curb just to get rid of. I think this was even in the old shop, and I couldn't find any leveling feet. My table saw broke, but thankfully, I think by Friday I'll have a new motor for it. So I couldn't cut any feet for it. I mounted it right to the stud on either side. This shelf we bought when we thought we were going to do a bathroom remodel, and then once complete, we decided that this shelf wasn't actually going to fit in the grand scheme of what we wanted. It has been sitting in the box for I think 2 years, and we just ended up with one extra. We just didn't end up needing it. So we have hand tools that I use most often, that are bladed hand tools that I use the most often, or need to sharpen and use more often. They're going to live in here. They're going to live on top. That way it's very easy for me to grab the, whatever I'm working on here on the assembly table. Right here is everything that I need is going to stay on top. And then the first top one here is all of the random screws, drywall, wood screws, deck screws, exterior screws, random threaded hardware, not in the sense of threaded planed hardware, but furniture type, nuts and bolts and threaded screws and all that kind of stuff that are really used to assemble things are all in this top one. And then we have some quarter 20 hardware that I use the most often, zip ties and electrical. These are the 5 boxes that I use the most often out of maybe the 10 of these that I have. And since I don't have the plywood and materials to build like a proper rack, and also I'm not really sure what the form and fit of that rack might even look like, I think this was the best way to go. Instead of looking for the perfect solution, just start somewhere. On this, I'm getting so tired of, I'll show you one. I'm getting so tired of these things, the little bit cases specifically. The twist drill bit cases are fine, but these driver bit cases, I've never liked the way that bits are mounted in them. And 2 or 3 years ago, August of 2019, Ryobi sold a case of 6 of these, I think. So it was like normal driver bits, torque bits, socket drivers, drill bits, and I forget what the other ones were. And a couple of these had an inset plastic tray with like extra bits in case you break them. And of course that little plastic thing has long since deteriorated or gone away or thrown away or dropped or in the way. So I decided, since I was so tired of trying to figure out which of the, and of course over the past 10 years, I got this set of 4 or 6, and of course I've got ones from, every other brand you can think of, because they're always, on the end, easy to grab, and way easier than trying to fight and look for where in the world those were in the shop. So instead I put them all in these. I had 2 of these already, and I went and I purchased 2 from Harbor Freight. I would never use these for like the heavy duty knock around sorting that I have been trying to collect this specific style for, because they fatigue quickly, the type of plastic that it is. But it's perfect for, I took every single one of these that I could find from whatever brand I found it in, and I put it all in here. So I have a full set in my little to-go toolbox that I keep, that's where I'm always going to go. And this would be like the archive. And I sorted them all by size, by type. I'll find a better way to label it, but at least instead of, waiting for that perfect solution, there it is. I'm probably going to end up buying, I think these are $4 a piece, and I think the small ones were $1 or $2 a piece. I'm probably going to go get 2 more of those small ones, because those drill bits with the countersinks attached to them, and the little drill stops, and all those kind of random accessories you use with drill bits or driver bits go in those 2, along with things that I didn't have enough space to categorize. So this is the setup. This is all the stuff that I use the most often, except for the planer and biscuit joiner. But also whenever I use those, I use them here. This is like version like 2. This had a different configuration, I think twice now over the course of the week and a half that it's been here. But the more that I use this and have it here, I already know this is the better place for it. This is the better place in the shop for it, and this is where it's gonna be. That's probably enough talking from me. I'll go show you what I'm gonna call the hardware store, where all of my actual, categorized hardware is gonna live, and then I'll show you how I'm dealing with my twist to drill bits, and because of where I use those the most often. And that'll be probably a wrap on this particular video. Some of the things you see here are out of chronological order from the videos that are going to come next. Because I don't know, I think in 3 videos from now you find out or 2 videos from now you find out that the table saw is broken. Obviously, I already mentioned that. But this is what I've got. I think I've got 3 or 4 videos that I'm going to start releasing weekly. We'll see. I'm going to do the best that I can with some different changes in my job and different changes in weather and opportunity and things of that nature. So, but I'll share as best I can, and I will continue to try to keep this thing updated even when it's small projects, because maybe someone will derive inspiration or motivation from that. Those of you who have been subscribed and watched for a long time, I appreciate you. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're making or thinking or creating or otherwise happy with whatever your pursuits are. Thank you very much for watching.
Choose it, don't lose it, don't let confuse it. Only then you'll be God. Feel like that. Feel like that. Feel like that.
This area is what I'm going to end up calling the hardware store. I'll probably do a fun little practice router sign or something to put right here. But there we go. But this is the start. This also has been through maybe 3 iterations of what's going to fit on here and how it's going to fit. This is where I would do any kind of, this is the bench that I would do any kind of small little detail work on, and that's how I'm organizing it, so I'm more encouraged and have a space to actually use those tools when I need them. So this is the start of that. I have one more thing to show you guys. I had the drill press. So last week I ended up making this little drill bit, Forstner bit caddy, which you're going to end up seeing in a later video. I organized all of my extra twisted drill bits after I put them into a full set case. So this case has a full set in it. I think it's missing 1. All of the extras got put in here, and then this is all going to live here at the drill press in some fashion. I will probably play with this orientation a little bit, whatever way that actually fits on this as a footprint, and then that's it. I appreciate you watching. I know a little long-winded, but I appreciate it all the same. I still can't turn comments on. I was inactive for so long, and with YouTube's like 5 terms and services updates, one of them was inactivity reduces some of the features I'm allowed to do. So none of these videos have been monetized. I don't think they will be monetized. They're just me sharing. I'm sharing for the sake of sharing, as my perspective and attitude towards some of this has changed, and I'm trying to get myself motivated to come and do this. And since I'm going to do it and I can share it, maybe it'll inspire someone or show someone, or, you know, remove that little blockage of thinking that maybe inspire someone to do something. Who knows? It's not that great, but it works for me, and it's a work in progress. So if you can't comment, I'm sorry. I appreciate you watching it anyway. Thanks, and I hope you guys have a good day, and I'll see you next time.